Alright, my name is David Alejandro Castillo. I'm 20 years old. I currently go to UIC and I'm a biology major. I've been living in the US since I was 4, so that's 16 years that I've been living here. Currently, I'm just facing financial struggles and overall just paying for college. Right now, my parents are the ones that are paying my tuition, and we're on a payment plan, so they have to deal with that, plus whatever other financial spending they have to do. So, food, rent, bills, that sort of stuff.
So the main reason why you do this is because you can't find a job, or?
Yeah, that's the main reason.
My name is Carolina Gallo. I go to here Washington College. I'm a political science major, and I've probably been here for about 13 years.
As an undocumented student?
I think one of the hardest things was trying to, as a first-generation college student, because I'm the first one in my family to go, I felt like that in itself was a struggle. My parents didn't know anything about applying for colleges. They didn't know what, an application looked like. They didn't know what all these questions looked like. They didn't really know anything. So I think just having to get out of my comfort zone and having to go to all these different college fairs where I was the only student there without a parent, and parents used to be shocked to look at me, especially white parents. And then when I would have to talk to admissions officers by myself, I went to go meet with an admission officer and I had to sit there because I wanted to go to liberal arts school in New York. And I had to sit there and tell them that I was undocumented. And I think that was one of the hardest things that I had to ever do, was just kind of go to these different places and be well, I can't get money because of this. And then their reactions to it, some people were really rude, others were nicer about it, and others just, they acted calm, but inside they were how the fuck are we going to deal with her? Type of situation. I think that was one of, just being able to know that I wouldn't qualify for financial aid really fucked me over.
My name's José Caucin. I was born in Durango, Mexico. I'm currently 24 years of age, and the school that I attended is Harold Washington and H2K Infosys. It's an online class for IT, information technology major. And I've basically been here in the United States since the age of 2. I was brought here by my parents, and ever since I've been here. And that's a great question. If I recall it right, one of the most challenging or obstacles that I've had was being able to get any scholarships from my high school. I remember I was very athletic, so I always had a passion for soccer. I remember getting a scholarship as well from a university that unfortunately I couldn't take advantage of because I couldn't prove my legal status here. So for that matter, I couldn't take advantage of that. As well as, I don't know what your economical standards are, but from where I came from, we didn't have the best. So I couldn't get any financial aid like a lot of students would. And then just accepting into a lot of other schools that didn't allow us unless we showed proof of residency here or had a student visa from my home country.
I believe that as somebody who will benefit from it, I believe that it should be passed, and that it's great that they're advocating for such things. I don't believe that they're doing any harm at all, because if you're not heard, especially in Congress, people don't pay attention to you. And even though people who are undocumented do not really have a say in this country because they can't vote, people who can vote, they're the ones who are usually the ones who are advocating for. And so by having their support, many things can happen, and it all just depends on the future, and it's not a question of whether or not it will happen, but when, because the Latino workforce is a huge part of the U.S., and at one point or another, somebody's going to have to take notice of that.
That's a great question. I think I'll answer that question with a question. And don't judge me. It's just Let me ask you this. Do you think we look harmful or dangerous to the economy? To anybody? We're just humans, right?
Yes.
So I think despite that, we're all just trying to like empower our lives, pretty much it. So I don't think they're doing wrong. I definitely am with them. I am one of them. And, that's how I feel about that. I think we all deserve a chance, just like as one day Columbus got here, as an immigrant as well.
I think they're doing good. I do, however, feel like immigration reform, it is and it is not part of the Dream Fund, and it is not a part of like the, like Illinois Dream Act itself. The Illinois Dream Act just grants people the right to be paid in-state tuition. It's the only thing that it really does for people. Besides that, I think immigration reform is kind of like the whole umbrella. It's like the big picture, and the Dream Fund and the Dream Act are kind of like that small, like the small details of the big picture. And I feel like as a movement, we're doing really well, and we know what we want, and we know who we're advocating for. But at the same time, I feel that more needs to be passed in education, because I feel education is the way to pave for more conscious awareness, and kind of be able to also be in a space where you know more about not just yourself but your community, and you're more educated about laws, and you're more educated about stuff like that, because you have the resources to it. And I feel like we should focus on, we shouldn't just clamp everything together and focus it in parts, because we need to start small and go big. Because there needs to be the small steps, like the Illinois passing the Dream Act. That was a small step. That small step needs to happen, and little other small steps lead to a big step, which is like a general immigration reform, which is really necessary. But I think like one person brought this out at UIC. You guys gotta, I feel like undocumented students are really focusing on the big picture, but they're really lacking on the education side, or just like the smaller picture of what they could do now that could help them later. And I think that's passing policies where people are working with like state legislatures to like ensure that these students are able to, like students like myself, are able to have access to like public safe funds, or somehow get more funding from the schools itself, and being able to go to a state school being an option, instead of just having to go to a private school. Because I want to go to UIC, but am I going to be able to afford UIC even though it's not that expensive? I might not be able to. So I won't be able to study urban planning. I might end up studying, I don't know, whatever is available that I could afford. That's similar to what I want to do, which is what a lot of people do until they get to grad school. And if they even figure out how to even make it to grad school, because the money to pay for grad school is insane.